The massive screen in Earth's Central Command showed Ambassador Mark Wilson's face turning red with anger. He stood before the Galactic Council, his fists clenched at his sides. The alien delegates sat in their raised seats, looking down at him with what could only be described as smug expressions on their varied faces. "For the last time," Mark said, his voice steady despite his obvious anger, "we demand you address the attacks on our outer colonies. 3 settlements destroyed in the past month alone." The head counselor, a tall blue-skinned being named Trell, waved a long-fingered hand dismissively. Perhaps if humans were not so fragile, their colonies would survive better. Several other council members laughed, their various sounds of amusement echoing through the chamber. In the Earth Command Center, General Tom Parker watched the transmission with growing fury. Around him, military commanders from every major nation on Earth stood in silence. They had all seen enough. "Cut the transmission," Parker ordered. The screen went black. The room remained quiet for several long moments. Finally, Admiral Jane Reed spoke up. "That's it then. We've tried talking for 20 years. We've signed their treaties. We've played by their rules." She looked around the room. "And what has it gotten us? More dead colonists, more attacks, more mockery." Intelligence Director Pete Brown stepped forward, holding a datapad. "It's worse than that. Our deep cover agents just sent this." He pressed a button, and a new image appeared on the main screen. "They've been planning to contain us all along. These are construction plans for military bases around every human colony. They're not just attacking us randomly. They're preparing for a full invasion." The room erupted in concerned murmurs. General Parker raised his hand for silence. "How long have they been planning this?" he asked. "Based on the data, at least 5 years," Brown replied. "While they've been talking peace, they've been preparing for war. They think we're too primitive to have detected their plans." Colonel Mary Roberts laughed bitterly. "They still think we're using the technology they gave us. They have no idea about the advances we've made." It was true. While the aliens had provided Earth with basic space travel technology as a gesture of goodwill, humanity had been secretly developing its own tech. Hidden shipyards in asteroid belts, weapons systems that could pierce alien shields, stealth technology that made human ships invisible to alien sensors. "Project Titan?" Parker asked, looking at Dr. James Lee. The scientist nodded. "Ready for deployment. All ships can be fitted with the new drives within 2 weeks." "The Ghost Protocol?" Parker turned to Colonel Roberts. "Our stealth ships are in position near every major alien military installation. They don't suspect a thing." Parker walked to the center of the room, looking at each person in turn. 20 years ago, they found us. They told us we came from a death world. They said our gravity was too high, our environment too hostile. They treated us like children who needed guidance." He paused. "But they never understood what living on a death world means. They never understood what it created in us." Admiral Reed stood straighter. "They think because we're younger than them, we're weaker. They've forgotten that evolution on Earth never stops, never slows down. We've been fighting since we could walk upright. Fighting nature, fighting each other, fighting to survive. And now," Parker looked around the room, "now they'll learn what happens when you push a death world species too far." He pressed a button on the main console. "This is General Parker to all Earth forces. Authorization code Alpha 7 Delta. Operation Reckoning is now active. I repeat, Operation Reckoning is now active." Across the solar system, hidden military bases sprang to life. In asteroid belts and beneath the surfaces of moons, massive doors opened to reveal flotillas of warships. On Earth, underground bunkers activated as missile silos opened. In the Galactic Council chamber, Ambassador Wilson was still trying to speak when his communication device beeped. He read the message, a small smile forming on his face. Without another word, he turned and walked out, leaving the confused aliens behind. Humanity had finally had enough. There would be no more talks, no more warnings, only war. The massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains hummed with activity. Screens lit up everywhere as soldiers and technicians rushed to their stations. In the central command room, General Parker watched as Earth's hidden military might awakened. Status report, he ordered, his eyes fixed on the main display showing hundreds of green dots representing human ships emerging from their secret bases. Project Titan ships at 89% combat readiness, reported Colonel Roberts. Ghost fleet in position around all major alien installations. Ground forces mobilizing worldwide. On another screen, they watched as massive hangar doors opened in the side of Mars Olympus Mons. A fleet of sleek, black warships emerged, their hull design unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. These weren't the clumsy vessels humanity had pretended to use for the past 2 decades. These were predators, built for war. Deploy the Nightmare units first, Parker commanded. The Nightmare units were Earth's elite soldiers, specially trained and enhanced to fight in any environment. Their powered armor made them nearly unstoppable on the battlefield. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Bill Foster from his console, "the aliens are detecting our fleet movements. They're sending messages demanding explanations." "No response," Parker said firmly. "Let them wonder. Let them worry." In orbit around Earth, the alien observation posts suddenly found their sensors blocked. When they tried to report this to their superiors, they discovered their communications were jammed. The human ships they had always dismissed as primitive now surrounded them, weapons primed. Deep in the Pacific Ocean, another secret revealed itself. The seafloor split open as massive submarines, each the size of a small city, rose from underwater bases. These vessels carried Earth's most devastating weapons, designed specifically to target each alien species' unique weaknesses. "Dr. Lee," Parker turned to the scientist, "are the pathogen shields ready?" "Yes, sir," Lee nodded. "Every human ship and soldier is protected against all known alien biological weapons, but our own targeted weapons are ready for deployment if needed." In the 20 years since first contact, humanity had studied their alien opponents carefully. Every diplomatic meeting, every trade delegation, every cultural exchange, all had been opportunities to gather intelligence, to learn weaknesses, to prepare. "Message from Luna Base," called out Communications Officer Ted Wilson. "The gravity weapon is powered up and ready." The gravity weapon was humanity's ace, built in secret on the dark side of the moon. It could manipulate gravitational fields. For species that evolved in lower gravity, it would be devastating. "All Titan ships report ready," Roberts announced. "Ghost fleet awaiting attack orders." Parker nodded, then pressed a button on his command console. His voice echoed through every human military installation in the solar system. "This is General Parker. For 20 years, we've watched. We've learned. We've prepared. The aliens thought they were studying us, but we were studying them. They thought they were containing us, but we were just waiting. Today, we show them why you don't threaten a species that evolved on a death world." Throughout the solar system, human forces moved with precision. The aliens had always believed humans were too aggressive, too violent. Now they would learn why that aggression had helped humanity survive on Earth. "Sir," Foster called out, "we're detecting alien fleet movements. They're mobilizing." Just as expected, Parker smiled grimly. "They still think they're dealing with the primitive species they first contacted. Lieutenant, activate the EMF pulse satellites." Across alien space, hidden human satellites powered up. The electromagnetic pulses they released were specifically calibrated to disrupt alien technology, while leaving human systems unaffected. "All units," Parker's voice was firm, "execute Battle Plan Delta. Show them what humanity can do when we stop holding back." The screen showed thousands of human ships moving into attack positions. 20 years of preparation were about to pay off. The aliens had never understood one simple truth. Humans don't just survive on a death world. They master it. The real war was about to begin. The first shots of the war weren't fired with weapons, but with technology. Across alien space, their defense systems suddenly went dark as human EMF pulses knocked out their communications. Panic spread through alien command centers as they found themselves blind and deaf. Ghost Fleet 1, begin your attack, General Parker ordered from Earth Command. In orbit around the alien homeworld of the Blue Sphere Alliance, empty space suddenly shimmered. Dozens of human warships appeared, their stealth systems dropping just long enough to launch their first devastating strike. The aliens' mighty orbital defense platforms, powerless from the EMF pulse, were destroyed before they could react. Multiple direct hits, reported Colonel Roberts. Their orbital defenses are down. Moving to Phase 2. On the alien worlds, the first sign of trouble came when their artificial gravity failed. The gravity weapon on Earth's moon had worked perfectly, creating chaos as species used to lower gravity found themselves crushed by forces they weren't evolved to handle. Nightmare units, you have clearance to deploy, Parker commanded. From the human ships, drop pods launched toward key military installations. Inside each pod, soldiers in powered armor waited. These weren't ordinary troops. They were humans who had trained in high-gravity environments, their natural strength amplified by their suits. The alien defenders who managed to respond found themselves facing an unstoppable force. Humans moved with impossible speed and strength, their armor shrugging off energy weapons like rain. The aliens had always mocked humans for coming from a high-gravity world. Now they understood why that was a terrible mistake. "Sir," Lieutenant Foster called out, "the Ghost Fleet reports all primary targets neutralized. The aliens are trying to mount a counterattack, but their ships are scattered and disorganized." On the main screen, Parker watched as alien vessels attempted to form defensive lines. But without their usual technological advantages, they were fighting blind. Human ships, faster and more maneuverable than anything the aliens had seen before, struck from multiple directions. "Deploy the Titan ships," Parker ordered. "Show them what real human engineering can do." The Titan-class battleships moved into position. These massive vessels had been built in secret, incorporating both stolen alien technology and human innovations. Their main guns fired, and alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against good old-fashioned kinetic rounds accelerated to near-light speed. Multiple alien vessels destroyed, Roberts reported with grim satisfaction. "They're breaking formation. Several ships are attempting to retreat." In the alien command centers, panic turned to horror as they realized the truth. The humans they had dismissed as primitive had been playing them for fools. Every piece of technology they had given to humanity had been studied, improved, and turned against them. "Message incoming from the Galactic Council," Foster announced. "They're requesting immediate ceasefire and negotiations." Parker laughed darkly. No response. They had their chance for talks. The Nightmare units had secured their objectives with minimal casualties. Human soldiers moved through alien installations with practiced efficiency, their years of training paying off. They had studied alien anatomy, learned their weaknesses, and now put that knowledge to devastating use. "Sir," Roberts called out, "the aliens are attempting to activate their biological weapons." "Let them," Parker replied calmly. "Dr. Lee's pathogen shields are holding. Our troops are immune to their weapons, but they're not immune to ours." This was humanity's true advantage. While the aliens had seen humans as primitive and violent, they had failed to understand what that meant. Humans had spent their entire history fighting. Against nature, against disease, against each other. They had learned to adapt, to overcome, to win at any cost. "All primary objectives secured," Roberts reported. "Enemy forces are in full retreat across all sectors." Parker nodded, watching as the alien fleets scattered. This was just the beginning. The aliens had wanted to contain humanity, to keep them confined to their death world. Instead, they had pushed humans to do what they did best, fight back harder than anyone expected. The first strike had been successful, But this was only the start of humanity's response to alien aggression. The real war was just beginning. The battle for the Centauri system marked the beginning of humanity's push into alien space. 3 weeks had passed since the first strike, and the aliens were still reeling from the shock of human capabilities. Multiple alien warships detected, Lieutenant Foster announced in Earth Command. They're attempting to form a blockade at the system's edge. General Parker studied the tactical display. The aliens had finally managed to gather a significant fleet, hoping to stop the human advance. Their ships formed a traditional battle line, the same formation they'd used successfully for centuries against other species. "Deploy Battle Group 7, Parker ordered. "Let's show them why linear tactics don't work against humans." The human ships appeared seemingly from nowhere, their stealth systems deactivating at the last possible moment. But instead of forming their own battle line, the Earth vessels split into small, autonomous groups. The alien commanders, used to rigid military structures, couldn't adapt to the chaos of human warfare. "Target their command ships first," Parker commanded. "Don't give them time to coordinate." The Titan-class battleships opened fire, their kinetic rounds tearing through alien shields. The aliens had spent centuries developing defenses against energy weapons, never imagining someone would use the simple physics of mass times acceleration as a weapon. "Sir," Roberts reported, "the Nightmare units report success on the ground. 3 alien worlds secured. Their troops couldn't handle the gravity changes." This was humanity's advantage in ground combat. Evolved on a high-gravity world, human soldiers could fight effectively even when the artificial gravity was increased. The alien troops, coming from lower gravity worlds, found themselves barely able to move. Multiple alien ships breaking formation, Foster called out. "They're trying to retreat to their secondary defense line." "Not this time," Parker said firmly. "Release the drone swarms." Thousands of small automated drones launched from the human ships. Another innovation the aliens hadn't expected. They believed AI was too dangerous to use in combat, but humans had long since moved past such fears, creating drone systems that could think and adapt faster than any organic pilot. The alien fleet found itself surrounded by an impossible number of targets. Their targeting systems, designed to track large vessels, couldn't keep up with the swarm of small, fast-moving drones. Each drone carried a small but powerful explosive charge, and they suicide-rushed the alien ships in coordinated waves. "Alien fleet at 60% strength and falling," Roberts reported with satisfaction. "Their formation is completely broken." On the ground, human forces continued to push forward. The powered armor of the Nightmare units proved devastatingly effective in close combat. Alien warriors, used to fighting at a distance with energy weapons, found themselves facing opponents who could close the gap in seconds and engage in hand-to-hand combat. "Sir," Foster interrupted, "we're detecting large energy signatures. The aliens are trying to bring their heavy weapons online." "Too late," Parker smiled grimly. "Activate the EMP satellites." Throughout the system, hidden human satellites powered up. The electromagnetic pulses they released were specifically calibrated to affect alien technology, while leaving human systems untouched. The aliens had never considered that humans would find a way to selectively target electronic systems. "Their heavy weapons are offline," Roberts confirmed. "Their remaining ships are losing power. Ground forces report alien defensive positions are going dark." The tactical display showed the alien fleet in chaos. Without their advanced technology, they were learning a harsh lesson about human warfare. Humans didn't rely solely on technology. They were trained to fight even when their systems failed. "All units," Parker commanded, "push forward. Don't let them regroup." The human forces advanced methodically, securing planet after planet, system after system. The aliens had never faced an enemy like this, one that combined advanced technology with primitive brutality, that could fight with sophisticated weapons or bare hands with equal effectiveness. "Sir," Foster reported, "we're receiving surrender signals from multiple alien positions." Parker nodded. The aliens were learning, but the lesson was coming too late. They had pushed humanity too far, and now they were facing the consequences of underestimating the Deathworld species. The line was broken. There would be no stopping humanity's advance now. 3 months into the war, the tide had turned completely. Humanity's forces pushed deeper into alien territory, their advance unstoppable. In Earth Command, General Parker watched as another alien system fell to human forces. Intelligence report from the Ghost Fleet, Colonel Roberts announced. "We've located their main shipyards. They're trying to build a new defense fleet." Parker studied the data on his screen. The aliens had hidden their shipyards inside a massive nebula, thinking the radiation would mask their activities. They hadn't counted on human sensors designed to work in Earth's most hostile environments. "Send in the Titan squadrons," Parker ordered. "Full stealth approach. Let's end their shipbuilding capabilities." The human ships moved through the nebula like sharks through dark water. The aliens never saw them coming. The first sign of attack was when their shipyards began exploding, precision strikes targeting their construction base and resource stockpiles. "Sir," Lieutenant Foster called out, "we're receiving multiple diplomatic broadcasts. 3 more alien species are requesting peace talks." "Record their messages," Parker replied coldly, "but maintain combat operations." They had their chance for peace. On the main display, human forces continued their advance. The aliens had never understood the true danger of provoking humanity. They had seen humans as primitive because they still carried traits from their evolutionary past: aggression, tenacity, the drive to survive at any cost. Now those same traits were being turned against them. "Nightmare units report success on the ground," Roberts said. "The alien capital world is secured. Their leadership tried to escape through underground tunnels." "Tried?" Parker raised an eyebrow. "Our units were waiting for them. Turns out humans are very good at underground combat. Something about our mining heritage." The war had revealed many such advantages. Humans, having evolved to survive in every environment Earth could throw at them, were uniquely adapted to warfare across different worlds. Underground, underwater, in high gravity or low, human soldiers could adapt and fight effectively. "New intelligence from deep cover agents," Foster reported. "The Galactic Council is fracturing. Several species are blaming each other for provoking Earth." This was another human advantage. Their intelligence network. While the aliens had watched human space with obvious surveillance, humanity had built a network of deep cover agents using stealth technology. These agents had spent years mapping alien weaknesses, gathering intelligence, and placing hidden weapons in critical locations. "Sir," Roberts interrupted, "the alien defense line in the Orion sector just collapsed. Their remaining ships are retreating in disorder." The tactical display showed the alien fleet's retreat, but unlike previous engagements, the human forces didn't immediately pursue. Instead, they moved methodically, securing each system before moving forward. This wasn't just about winning battles. It was about holding territory. "Deploy the mining ships," Parker commanded. "Start extracting resources from the captured systems. We're not just going to defeat them. We're going to take everything they have." This was perhaps the biggest shock to the alien species. Humans weren't just fighting to defend themselves. They were fighting to take control. Every captured system was immediately put to use, its resources feeding the human war machine. "Multiple alien worlds are surrendering without a fight," Foster reported. "They're seeing what happened to those who resisted." The human advance had been ruthlessly efficient. Worlds that surrendered were occupied, but left largely intact. Those that resisted faced the full might of humanity's military power. The aliens were learning that humans could be merciful or merciless, depending on the situation. "Sir," Roberts said, "the Ghost Fleet has located their Central Defense Command. They're trying to coordinate a final stand." Parker nodded grimly. No more cat and mouse games. No more letting them retreat and regroup. "Send in everything we have. End this." Across alien space, human forces moved with deadly purpose. The hunters had become the hunted, and humanity was proving to be a relentless predator. The aliens had thought they were containing a dangerous species. Instead, they had unleashed something they couldn't control. The war was entering its final phase, and humanity was determined to make sure this never happened again. The alien Central Command Fortress hung in space, a massive structure that had once symbolized their military might. Now it stood alone, its defensive fleet scattered, its allies gone. In Earth Command, General Parker watched as human forces surrounded the fortress. All Titan-class ships in position. Colonel Roberts reported. Ghost Fleet has disabled their escape routes. Nightmare units ready for boarding action. Send the message one last time, Parker ordered. Give them a chance to surrender. Lieutenant Foster transmitted the demand, though everyone knew what the response would be. The aliens had finally realized the full extent of their mistake in underestimating humanity. Their pride wouldn't let them surrender to a species they had once mocked. No response, sir, Foster confirmed after a few minutes. They're powering up their weapons. Parker nodded grimly. All units, commence final attack. No quarter given. The human fleet opened fire simultaneously. The fortress's shields, once thought impenetrable, crackled and failed under the concentrated barrage of kinetic rounds and energy weapons. The aliens had never designed their defenses to withstand both types of attacks at once. Breach in sectors 7 through 12, Roberts announced. Nightmare units are boarding. Inside the fortress, alien defenders faced their worst nightmare. Human soldiers in powered armor moved through the corridors with deadly efficiency. Their suits, designed for high-gravity combat, let them move faster than any alien could react. Years of combat experience on Earth had taught humans how to fight in close quarters, a skill the aliens had never mastered. Sir, Foster called out, we're detecting energy buildups throughout the fortress. They're trying to self-destruct. Not this time, Parker replied. Activate the dampening fields. Another human innovation came into play. The aliens had always relied on energy weapons and power systems. They never expected an enemy who could simply shut down their power grid at will. The fortress went dark as human technology neutralized their systems. Main command center breached, Roberts reported. Nightmare units engaging alien leadership directly. The battle was short. The alien leaders, used to commanding from safety, found themselves face to face with human warriors. All their advanced technology, all their supposed superiority, meant nothing in close combat against soldiers evolved on a death world. Fortress secured, Roberts announced after several tense minutes. All alien leadership either captured or eliminated. Across alien space, the news spread quickly. Their mighty Central Command, the heart of their military power, had fallen. The species that had once dominated the galaxy had been completely defeated by the very humans they had tried to contain. Sir, Foster reported, we're receiving surrender messages from every remaining alien military installation. Their forces are standing down. Parker studied the tactical display. In just 6 months, humanity had dismantled an empire that had stood for centuries. The aliens had never understood what they were dealing with. They saw humans as primitive because they still carried weapons designed to kill rather than just disable. They never realized that this was humanity's strength, the ability to do whatever was necessary to win. Begin occupation procedures, Parker ordered. Secure their weapons, their shipyards, their technology, everything they ever used against us. Take it. This wasn't just about winning the war. Humanity was making sure this could never happen again. Every piece of alien military technology was being cataloged and either destroyed or adapted for human use. Every fortress, every base, every hidden facility was being taken apart. Additional reports coming in, Roberts said. The alien populations are accepting our occupation more easily than expected. Apparently, many of them had opposed the war against Earth from the beginning. Parker wasn't surprised. The aliens had built their empire on technology and arrogance. When those failed, they had nothing left. Humans, who had spent their history fighting and adapting, understood that true strength came from more than just advanced weapons. "Maintain combat readiness," Parker commanded. "The war might be over, but our work isn't done." The galaxy was changing. The species that had once looked down on humanity were learning a harsh lesson about underestimating the Deathworld species. The era of alien dominance was over. Humanity's era was just beginning. 1 year after the war began, the galaxy had changed forever. The Great Hall of the former Galactic Council, once filled with alien representatives who had mocked humanity, now held a different gathering. General Parker stood at the main podium, looking out at the assembled representatives of both human colonies and defeated alien worlds. "The old order is gone," Parker announced, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "Today we establish new rules for interstellar civilization." Behind him, the massive screen showed the extent of human control, nearly 70% of known space. What had once been alien territory was now under human administration. But unlike the aliens' rule, humanity had chosen a different path. "Lieutenant Foster," Parker called out, "display the new treaty terms." The screen changed, showing the basic principles of the new galactic order. Worlds that had surrendered peacefully were granted partial autonomy under human oversight. Those that had fought to the end were under direct human military control. All weapons development and shipbuilding would be monitored by human forces. "We're not here to destroy your civilizations," Parker continued, "but we will ensure that no species ever again threatens humanity's existence." Colonel Roberts, standing at attention near the podium, watched the alien representatives carefully. Some showed fear, others resignation, but a surprising number showed relief. The old council's rule had been based on technological superiority and arrogance. Human rule, while strict, was proving to be more practical. "Your worlds will maintain their local governments," Parker explained. "Trade will continue. Cultural exchange will be encouraged. But military power in this galaxy now belongs to Earth." The human victory had brought unexpected benefits. Access to alien technology, combined with human innovation, had accelerated Earth's development by centuries. Human colonies were expanding rapidly, using the resources of captured systems to grow and prosper. "Sir," Foster reported quietly, "we're receiving acceptance signals from all representative groups." Parker nodded. The aliens had learned their lesson. Humanity's response to their aggression had shown them something they had never understood before. The true strength of a species that evolved on a death world wasn't just physical power, but adaptability and determination. "The nightmare units report all security measures are in place," Roberts added. "No signs of resistance in any occupied systems." The war had changed humanity too. Earth's nations, united by the alien threat, had maintained their alliance. Human expansion into space was now a coordinated effort, with colonies established using the best aspects of both human and alien technology. "Let today mark a new beginning," Parker continued. "Earth does not seek to destroy or enslave. We seek only to ensure that what happened before never happens again." The alien representatives listened intently. Many had already seen the benefits of human administration. Earth's practical approach to problem solving, combined with their understanding of survival in harsh conditions, had actually improved living conditions on many worlds. "The defense fleets are in position throughout controlled space," Roberts reported. "Ghost fleet patrols are maintaining security in all sectors." This was the new reality. Human ships, once mocked as primitive, now patrol the galaxy. The Titan-class battleships, Earth's most powerful vessels, stood ready to respond to any threat. But they weren't just weapons of war anymore. They also carried supplies, provided emergency assistance, and helped maintain order. "Remember this day," Parker concluded, "not as the day of your defeat, but as the day we all learn to work together." Earth extends its protection to all peaceful worlds. Those who accept this new order will find humans to be fair allies. Those who resist. He paused meaningfully. "Well, you've seen what happens to those who resist." The assembly hall remained quiet as his words sank in. The galaxy had learned a crucial lesson about humanity. They weren't just warriors from a death world. They were survivors, adaptable and resourceful. Once provoked, they had proved unstoppable. But in victory, they had shown a capacity for mercy that surprised their former enemies. The war was over. The galaxy had a new order. And at its center stood humanity, no longer contained, no longer mocked, but respected and, more importantly, understood. The Death World species had taken its place among the stars, ensuring that peace would prevail through diplomacy when possible, through force when necessary. The galaxy would never be the same again.